Okay, the question says, a certain job can be done by Carlos in C hours, and the same job can be done by Henry in H hours, where H is greater than C. Now what that means is that Henry takes longer than Carlos. So Henry is going to be slower and Carlos is going to be faster, right? Because he takes less time in order to do the same job. Now Carlos and Henry work together at the same time and they can complete the job in T hours if they work together. Which of the following must be true? Okay, we are with must be true. Option number 1 says that 0 is less than T less than H. Well, definitely T must be greater than 0 because it's going to be positive. T cannot be negative. And T is going to be less than H. Why? Because if Henry alone can do it in H hours, since he's getting help from Carlos, both are going to do it in less time. So it's definitely going to be less time than if Henry would do it on his own. So number 1 is okay, it's true. Number 2 says that T is less than H and it's greater than C. Now this is true because of what we said, but this one is not true because if Carlos does the job in C hours, if he's going to be helped by Henry, however slow he is, he's still going to be faster than if Carlos did it on his own. So T cannot be greater than C. It is going to be less than C. So number 2 is false. Now number 3 is a little bit trickier because we have C over 2 less than T less than H over 2. Now, how do we tackle number 3? Henry and Carlos are going to work together. Okay. Now, suppose that Henry works with his clone. He works with Henry. Henry 2. Henry the second. Okay. Now, if they both work together and they have the same rate, the time that they're going to take working together, it's going to be the half, right? If Henry does a job in 4 hours and he works with another person that does the same job in 4 hours, both are going to do it in half the time because they have the same rate. H over 2 would be Henry. Okay. Now, since he's not being helped by another Henry, but rather by Carlos, which is faster, the time for both of them to be working together to complete the job is going to be less than H over 2. So the time was going to be less than H over 2. Okay, because he's being held by someone faster than if he cloned himself, let's say. Now, that is for this section. Okay, this one is true. Now, the other section is similar because if Carlos were to work with somebody who is identical, same rate, then they would both do it in C over 2 hours. Okay, but Carlos is not being held by someone that has the same rate as he does. He's being held by Henry. And Henry is slower. So the time that both are going to take to do the same job is going to be greater than if he's held by someone that has the same rate. So T is going to be greater than C over 2. So this part would be correct. Therefore, if you combine them, they're going to be true. So we're looking at 1 and 3. That is letter E.